Good evening. A very good evening to all of you. Right, so I am back. Yes, we wanted to start with another subject, but I came back. I came back for another hour to spend with you, and I'm so excited. I have been very excited since evening because I had to sort of come back again and meet you guys. So let's start off, and we'll try and finish the things very quickly. कुछ ज़्यादा नहीं है, so we'll finish quickly, and then me and Dr. Sumer really wanted to talk to you, all of you today as well. So we'll finish the work, and then we will talk a little heart to heart. Yes. So are you all ready? Okay. So we're going to. I had said that we would talk about the infections. Now, infections, you would have to do them from dermatology. So all these sexually transmitted diseases, right? So they are very well covered in, dermatology. And that's precisely where you have to do them from as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little overview of the part that I know that the dermatologist would not cover, right? So I would give you the part that is not covered in dermatology, right? So that you have everything that you need for your exams in your copy. Yes, so that's the purpose, that you should have everything. These notes are your arms and ammunitions. So you should have them in your copy at one place so that you can quickly revise things before the exam. Okay, so let's start off. And I am going to start with infections. Okay, and when we talk about infections in gynecology, right, so we are going to talk about screen share कर दी थी shared थी I think. I'm just going to share my screen one more time. वो तो रखी है. Oh. Okay, sorry, I was just wondering why my notepad is not coming. So the notepad is here. Now I am going to start off, right? So we're going to start with, as I said, we're going to start with infections. And, when we talk about infections in gynecology, we are going to talk about something that you should know about lower genital tract infections and something that you should know about the upper genital tract infections, right? So I'm going to start with lower genital tract infections, right? And typically we describe them as vaginitis, right? So more than 90% of vaginitis is because of 3 infections, right? So more than 95% of vaginitis is because of 3 infections. And I want you to draw 3 columns, right? So whatever we're going to write in 3 columns. The first column that I want you to make is of bacterial vaginosis. Okay, so the first column is going to be for bacterial vaginosis, right? The second column is going to be candidiasis or vaginal candidiasis, and the third is trichomonas, right? So the third is trichomonas. So these 3 infections account for more than 90% of vaginitis. So we're going to write it in columns, and the entire table becomes very, very important for you to revise in the exams. Okay? So the first thing is the organism. So which is the most important organism when it comes to bacterial vaginosis? Actually, it's a group of organisms, but the single most important one that you have to mark in your exams is Gardnerella vaginalis, right? So Gardnerella vaginalis is the main organism, and what is it doing? It is replacing the lactobacilli, right? So it is replacing the lactobacilli in the vagina. Although Gardnerella vaginalis is the main organism, you should know that it also, bacterial vaginosis will also have other organisms. Which ones are you supposed to know? So you should know at least Mycoplasma, okay, Ureaplasma, right, Mobilingus, Peptostreptococcus, right? So these are, the other ones that can be present as well, right? So Mycoplasma, Ureaplasma, Mobilingus, Peptostreptococcus, right? But the single most important one, as I have said, is Gardnerella vaginalis. Okay, Candidiasis. What species is it going to be? Candida albicans. And which is it going to be for Trichomonas, beta? It is going to be Trichomonas vaginalis. Please don't answer it as hominis. It is going to be Trichomonas vaginalis, right? Now, point number two for comparison of all is going to be, what is the chief presentation, right? What is the chief presentation or main? So what is the main complaint? So this is point number 2. In bacterial vaginosis, it is going to be a foul smelling discharge, right? So that's the only complaint in bacterial vaginosis. It is going to be a foul smelling discharge. Now, please remember, pruritus is generally not a feature of bacterial vaginosis. There is no dysuria or urinary symptoms, and there is no dyspareunia as well, right? So there is no right? So the most important complaint is foul smelling discharge, right? But no pruritus, no dysuria, and no dyspareunia, right? Now, what is the main complaint in Candida? Do not answer it as discharge. The main complaint in Candida is actually pruritus, right? So the main complaint is itching, yes, but discharge may be present as well, right? So the discharge is present, but it is not a main complaint. So please remember, usually the discharge is scanty. Okay, so usually the discharge is scanty in Candida, so it is not the main complaint. Is it clear? Can there be dysuria? Yes, there can be dysuria with candidiasis, and it's a very unique kind of a dysuria. It's called as splash dysuria. Now understand what is splash dysuria. Now, this woman who has vulvovaginal candidiasis has a lot of itching, right? So she itches a lot and she excoriates her genitals. Now, when she passes urine, the urine will touch these excoriated areas and therefore causes pain. So this particular description is what is called as splash dysuria. Okay, so this is called as splash dysuria. Usually, there is no dyspareunia. Okay, usually there is no dyspareunia, right, which is painful coitus. Okay, going on to what is the main complaint in Trichomonas? Again, it is going to be discharge. So for Trichomonas, again, it is a discharge, which is again foul smelling. But the classic description when we talk about the Trichomonas discharge, the exams will use the word frothy, right? So if you see the word frothy, then that is going in favor of Trichomonas. So frothy discharge is Trichomonas. Is it clear, bache? Okay. Then can there be pruritus? Yes. So Trichomonas may be associated with pruritus. Can there be dysuria? Yes, there can be dysuria as well as increased frequency of micturition. Can there be dyspareunia? Yes. There can be dyspareunia as well. And what else? There can also be, okay, pruritus I've written, right? So pruritus can be seen, dysuria can be seen, and dyspareunia can also be seen when it comes to trichomonas. The third thing that I'm going to write is about something more about the discharge that you should know, right? So the third point is something more about the discharge that you should know. So when you talk about discharge of bacterial vaginosis, you have to remember it is off-white to gray in color, right? So the discharge is off-white to gray in color. What about Candida? Candida, I think you all know. It is curdy white, right? So for Candida, it will be curdy white. What would be the answer for Trichomonas? For Trichomonas, it is greenish, but it can also be yellowish, right? So green to yellow, right? So it would be green to yellow for Trichomonas, okay? Also, when it comes to, something about the discharge that I want you to know is often in bacterial vaginosis, the discharge will be profuse, which means more in amount, right? In Candidiasis, I said that the discharge is less. Do you know why? Because this discharge sticks to the vaginal walls. Okay, so it sticks to the vaginal walls. And that's why I said it is usually a scanty discharge, right? So it will usually be a scanty discharge. What you should also know about Trichomonas is something that is called as strawberry cervix. So that's a very characteristic appearance of the cervix, which I will show in a moment. I will show you the slides in a moment. But here, you should know the term. So the term here, so along with the green or the greenish yellow discharge, what you will also see is strawberry cervix. What is strawberry cervix? We will see in a moment. Okay. Then what else? Then the next thing I want you to know is what is in general, we will talk about the fourth point will be the pH of vagina. Okay. So the fourth point is again very, very important. pH of vagina with these infections. So please remember, with bacterial vaginosis, the pH is going to be more than 4.5. Okay. With Candidiasis, the pH is between 4 to 4.5, right? And in, Trichomonas, it is also going to be more than 4.5, right? So more than 4.5 in bacterial vaginosis and Trichomonas, but less than 4.5 in Candidiasis, okay? So next, which of these is sexually transmitted, or we'll talk about that later. Now, coming to, in general, when you see vaginal discharge or vaginitis, what do you think is the investigation of choice? So the investigation of choice is microscopy. Okay, so whenever there is a vaginal discharge, the investigation of choice is microscopy. Now, what is the characteristic thing that you will see in the microscopy of bacterial vaginosis? We call them as clue cells. Okay, we call them as clue cells. So what are clue cells? Clue cells are vaginal epithelial cells. Okay, so they are vaginal epithelial cells which are studded with bacteria. So these are cells जिनके ऊपर bacteria चिपके हुए हैं, right? So these are cells which are studded with bacteria. Okay, so that is going to be the classic finding of bacterial vaginosis. What is the classic finding of Candida? You can see the pseudohyphae. Okay, so you can see the pseudohyphae, especially in which staining? KOH staining, right? So especially if you do the KOH staining, then you can see the pseudohyphae. Otherwise, you can see the budding yeast. Yes, so you can see the budding yeast. But if you put a KOH staining, you can actually see the pseudohyphae. So I will write the budding yeast or the pseudohyphae, right? What do you see in the saline microscopy of Trichomonas, right? What is this? So what you would see here is the organism itself. Do you know why? It is a flagellate organism, right? So it is a flagellate organism. So you identify the organism with its flagella, right? So you identify the organism with its flagella, right? So those are going to be the classic findings on microscopy of these vaginal discharge. Now, the sixth point that I want you to write is how or what extra things that you should know about each of these, right? So the first thing is, for bacterial vaginosis, I want you to write what is called as Amsel's criteria. Okay, so Amsel's criteria say that if 3 out of 4 are met, we will make a diagnosis of bacterial vaginosis. So if I get 3 out of these 4 things, I will make a diagnosis of bacterial vaginosis. So what is these Amsel's criteria? So the first thing is, or the first component is off-white or gray discharge. Yes. So off-white or gray discharge. Second is pH more than 4.5. The third point is clue cells. But what I want you to know here about the clue cells is that the minimum requirement, okay, the minimum requirement of clue cells should be 20%. So at least 20% of the epithelial cells should be clue cells, right? So at least 20% of epithelial cells should be clue cells. And the last is what is called as Whiff test. Right? So the last is the Whiff test or the amine test, which is when you add 10% KOH and immediately after, if you smell the discharge, it gives a typical amine odor or a fishy odor, right? So when you add 10% KOH and you try and smell it, it's whiffing, right? You get a amine odor. Right? So those are the 4 components of Amsel's criteria, right? And what we said is that we need at least 3 out of these 4 to make a diagnosis. Okay? Okay. What should you know about Candida with respect to this? That the Whiff test will be negative, right? So the Whiff test will be negative. And what do I want you to know about Trichomonas? That in Trichomonas, the Whiff test can be positive, right? So in Trichomonas, Whiff test can be positive. Okay? But in the exams, if we ask you, Whiff test is done for, then what would you answer? Then you will answer bacterial vaginosis. Okay, so Whiff test is actually done for bacterial vaginosis, but it may be positive even in Trichomonas, right? Next, is bacterial vaginosis a STD? No. So it is not a sexually transmitted disease, right? So it's not a sexually transmitted disease, and therefore I want you to know that treatment of partner is not done. So bacterial vaginosis is not an STD and treatment of the partner is not done, right? Similarly, for candidiasis, it is usually not a STD. Please remember, I did tell you earlier that candidiasis or candida is a commensal in human vagina. It only overgrows in certain conditions. So what do we write for candidiasis? treatment of partner is done only if he is symptomatic. So sometimes, yes, it may be transmitted as well sexually, but usually it is not a sexually transmitted disease. So generally you don't need to do partner treatment, but in case the partner is symptomatic, then we might have to treat the partner. What about trichomonas? Trichomonas is a sexually transmitted disease, and treatment of partner has to be done. Right? So the treatment of the partner has to be done. Now, usually microscopy is good enough for diagnosis. Okay, what I'm saying is usually microscopy is good enough for diagnosis. But in case there is some doubt, maybe you're not able to make a diagnosis, then what is the best test for bacterial vaginosis? Now, when it comes to best test for bacterial vaginosis, प्लीज डू नॉट मार्क कल्चर. ऐसा लगता है बैक्टीरिया है तो कल्चर होना चाहिए, राइट? सो प्लीज डू नॉट मार्क कल्चर. कल्चर इज यूजलेस फॉर बैक्टीरियल वैजिनोसिस, राइट? द बेस्ट टेस्ट हियर इज व्हाट इज कॉल्ड एज Gram stain, right? So the best test for bacterial vaginosis is Gram stain. It is not done in all patients. It is done only if the diagnosis is difficult, right? If microscopy was not good enough, right? Gram stain mein what we calculate is a score which is called as Nugent score, right? So in the Gram stain, we will calculate the Nugent score. And if this score is between 7 to 10, we say this is diagnostic of bacterial vaginosis, right? So if the score is between 7 to 10, we say it is diagnostic of bacterial vaginosis, right? Okay. Again, microscopy is good enough for Candida, but if in doubt, then what is the best test? Culture. Can you tell me the culture media? SDA. Yes, Sabarod's dextrose agar, right? So the culture media is SDA, Sabarod's dextrose agar, right? Then best test for trichomonas is again going to be culture of the organism. So one of the medias that I want you to know is Stewart's media, right? So one of the media that I want you to know is Stewart's media. And if I am right, this is the transport media for trichomonas. Yes, so this is the transport media for trichomonas, but you would know more microbiology than I do, right? Now, talking about treatment. So what is the treatment of choice for bacterial vaginosis? So for bacterial vaginosis, the answer is metronidazole, okay? 500 milligrams BD taken for 7 days, or clindamycin 300 milligram BD for 7 days, right? So metronidazole or clindamycin, right? So 500 milligram and 300 milligram, and it is given BD for 7 days, right? Please remember, if they ask you about bacterial vaginosis in pregnancy, okay, so if they say your patient has bacterial vaginosis in pregnancy and you want to treat her, then again the treatment remains the same. So metronidazole or clindamycin, depending on which one is there in the options, right? So the treatment will remain the same in pregnancy, okay? Coming on to Candida. So what is the drug of choice for Candida? So for Candida, it is going to be fluconazole, 150 milligram single dose. Yes, so 150 milligram orally single dose is the drug of choice for candidiasis. What about in pregnancy? So in pregnancy, we will not give oral azoles. In pregnancy, we will give topical clotrimazole or meconazole. So pregnancy mein we will not give oral azoles, right? So we will not give oral azoles. We will give topical clotrimazole or meconazole. Okay, metronidazole is not contraindicated in pregnancy. It's safe. Okay, आपका knowledge गलत है. Okay, so metronidazole is safe. Then going on to trichomonas. What is the answer for trichomonas? So for trichomonas, the drug of choice is again metronidazole. Again, 500 milligram BD for 7 days, right? So this is also going to be 500 milligram BD for 7 days. And in pregnancy, it is again metronidazole. Okay, it is again metronidazole, right? Now, classically, we might want to ask vaginosis in pregnancy, what is it associated with, right? So remember, bacterial vaginosis in pregnancy is classically associated with preterm labor. Okay, so it is classically associated with preterm labor, right? Is it clear? So have you all written the table down? So this table is very, very important for exams. Yes. So this table is very, very important for exams. Exam se pehle ye table zarur dekh ke jana, right? So for your NEET or your central institutes, both the exams, this table is very, very important, right? Now, if you've all written the table, I will quickly show you the images that you should know from here. So let's quickly see the images. So this is the image in bacterial vaginosis. What are these? So these were what I called as clue cells, right? So these are what are clue cells. So these are the epithelial cells, and do you see that they are studded with bacteria, right? So these are epithelial cells which are studded with bacteria, right? So this is clue cell, and this is actually a pap smear image. So all these three infections, Candida, bacterial vaginosis, or trichomonas, can be seen on pap smears as well. The other image is saline microscopy, right? So the other image is saline microscopy. Now here I have brought this picture because it classically gives you what is a normal epithelial cell look like and what does the clue cell look like. So यहाँ पे नीचे वाला is the normal epithelial cell, while the one at the top is what is the clue cell, right? So the bottom one is the normal epithelial cell, and at the top is the clue cell. So you see how it is studded with bacteria, right? Is this clear? So this is what clue cell looks like. Okay. Now let's look at the next image. That's an easy one. Can you tell me what is this? So that's again a pap smear slide. And what are you seeing here? The pseudohyphae. Yes. So this is how you will see the pseudohyphae of Candida, right? So these are the pseudohyphae of Candida, right? So that's how you look at the pseudohyphae. Then let's look at the third picture. This is very easy. So that is what is the appearance of Trichomonas vaginalis. And all four pictures are of Trichomonas vaginalis, but they are all at different magnifications and with different stains. You don't have to know the stains or anything. You just need to know that if they give you this as a visual, you should quickly be able to pick it up. So as I said, these are beautiful flat organisms, right? So these, you can very clearly see the flagella, and that's how you look for them in these smears as well as in saline microscopy, right? So they're all four are Trichomonas vaginalis. Is it clear, everyone? Okay. This is very easy to pick up. What is this picture? Strawberry cervix. So that's what I meant when we said strawberry cervix. What you see is punctate small hemorrhages on the cervix, right? So small punctate hemorrhages on the cervix is what is described as strawberry cervix. Okay, right? So that's the classic appearance of strawberry cervix, right? Then, okay, so those were the images that we have talked about so far. Then this is what you should know about vaginitis. Okay, one of the very important things that I want to highlight here is, do you realize that bacterial vaginosis is called as vaginosis? Do you realize this? That it is called as vaginosis and not actually vaginitis. Why? So please remember, in bacterial vaginosis, there is no inflammation, right? So in bacterial vaginosis, there is no inflammation. So if they ask you, right, if they ask you, will you see polymorphonuclear cells in the discharge? The answer is no, right? So please remember that in the discharge, the ratio of polymorphonuclear cells to epithelial cells will be less than 1. Yes, so polymorphonuclear cells to epithelial cells, this ratio will be less than 1, right? There is no inflammation. So they may try and catch you on this, right? So please remember, it is actually a vaginosis, not precisely a vaginitis. There is no local inflammation. So the ratio of polymorphonuclear cells and epithelial cells is less than 1. Okay, vagina के ऊपर जाते हैं, क्या आता है? So if you talk about cervicitis, right, the symptoms of cervicitis are very similar to vaginitis. Okay, symptoms are very similar, but this is going to be a mucopurulent discharge. Yes, which means it will be a yellow discharge. So it will be a mucopurulent discharge. That's what is the complaint of the patient. And when you see, yes, so she will see a yellowish discharge. And when you do a local examination, this mucopurulent discharge will be seen coming from cervix, right? So you will see the discharge in the cervix, right? So you will see this discharge coming from the os or coming from the cervix. Along with it, you know, the classic other complaints of the patient can be dysuria. So they present with very similar complaints. So they can also present with dysuria, intermenstrual bleeding, and even postcoital bleeding, right? So the main complaint is generally a mucopurulent discharge, but it may be associated with other complaints also. So what are the other complaints? Dysuria, intermenstrual bleeding, and postcoital bleeding. What are the organisms that are associated with cervicitis? So I'm sure you already know this. This was chlamydia and gonorrhea, right? So the most common ones causing cervicitis is chlamydia and gonorrhea. What is the classic appearance? So if you do a pars speculum examination of the cervix appears friable, right? So the cervix appears friable, right? So there will be discharge coming from the os and the cervix may appear friable, right? So this is when it comes to cervicitis. And I'm all sure that you know the drugs that we use for cervicitis. So if I specially ask you, right? So if I specially ask you, what is the drug that you want to give for chlamydia? What is the answer? Doxycycline. Yes. So for chlamydia, it is doxycycline. 100 milligram BD for 7 days. But do you know that we can also give azithromycin? Yes, we can also give azithromycin 1 gram oral, right? So for chlamydia, it is doxycycline, or we can also give azithromycin. Yes, भाई पूरी गायनी की क्लास खत्म हो गई और पीएस पूछ रहे हो per speculum examination. Okay, per speculum examination. All right. What about gonorrhea? So gonorrhea, again, we can give ceftriaxone and azithro, right? So ceftriaxone and azithromycin, right? So that's for gonorrhea, right? Azithro remains as 1 gram oral dose, right? Ceftriaxone is 250 milligram IM single dose, right? So 250 milligram IM single dose. That's for gonorrhea. Okay. Now, yes, it is injection ceftriaxone 250 milligram IM single dose. Okay. Now, talking about PID. So पहली बात तो ये है, how is PID different from these two? So please understand, vaginitis and cervicitis are not included in PID. PID में क्या होता है? It is a upper genital tract infection. Okay, so it is a upper genital tract infection, which means it should include infection of uterus, fallopian tube, and or the ovaries, right? So uterus, fallopian tubes, and or ovaries. Yes, if gonorrhea is there, then we would preferably give actually both, right? So ceftriaxone single dose along with azithromycin 1 gram oral. Okay, so that is how PID is different from cervicitis and vaginitis. So सबसे नीचे vaginitis, फिर cervicitis और ऊपर चले गए तो PID, right? What is the classic complaint of PID? Or before I go to complaint, what women have highest risk of PID? Now, please remember, as such, all sexually active women, okay, all sexually active women are at risk of PID. Okay, all sexually active women are at risk of PID, but the highest risk, okay, the highest risk is with women who have multiple sexual partners. Okay, women who have multiple sexual partners, right? Now, in general, PID is a polymicrobial infection, right? So in general, it is a polymicrobial infection. But if in the exams we ask you one organism, then the most common single best answer will be chlamydia. If you can mark 2 answers, so if let's say every option has 2 organisms, then obviously the better choice becomes chlamydia and gonorrhea. Okay? Then a better choice becomes chlamydia and gonorrhea. मगर अगर एक देना है तो chlamydia. But सबसे अच्छा आंसर क्या है? सबसे अच्छा आंसर है that it is polymicrobial. Yes? Now, on this note, we will ask you some different MCQs as well. For example, most common cause of PID in adolescent, or rather not adolescent, in virgin girls, which means girls who are not sexually active, right? Then this is to be answered as genital tuberculosis, right? So this is to be answered as genital tuberculosis. If we ask you characteristic infection with intrauterine device users, So what is the classic or characteristic infection with IUD users? Then it is actinomyces, right? So with IUD users, it is going to be actinomyces. Okay? Then can you tell me, PID is a disease of younger women or older women? Relatively younger or relatively older? So relatively younger. So if you ask age wise, then actually adolescent girls will be at high risk. Right? So relatively younger women are at higher risk of pelvic inflammatory disease. Okay. Now, coming to what is the classic complaint of a woman who comes to us with PID? So the characteristic complaint is lower abdominal pain. Okay. Lower abdominal pain. It may be unilateral, it may be bilateral. Quite often it tends to be bilateral pain, right? So bilateral lower abdominal pain. And especially, if the girl describes the pain as worsening with coitus, then yes, it quite likely points towards pelvic inflammatory disease. Or if the girl describes it as pain after menses, so not with menses, after menses. So these are certain terms you have. A patient describes the pain with these, we know that we are dealing with PID, right? So lower abdominal pain is the general answer, but especially if my patient is describing it as that it worsens with coitus, doctor, or the pain is typically more after menstruation, doctor, then yes, this is a patient with PID. But how do we make a diagnosis? Okay. Now to make a diagnosis, we say lower abdominal pain, right? So lower abdominal pain with any one of the following. So lower abdominal pain with any one of the following, right? What is that? It can be uterine tenderness. Okay. It can be adnexal tenderness. Or it can be cervical motion tenderness. So a woman coming to us with lower abdominal pain and any one of the following: uterine tenderness, adnexal tenderness, or cervical motion tenderness. Cervical motion tenderness means when you move the cervix, the woman winces with pain, right? So this is how we will make the diagnosis, right? So lower abdominal pain with any one of the following. Now, what can be the other complaints? Right? So what can be the other complaints of these women who have PID? They can also have, so along with lower abdominal pain, they can also have discharge. Okay. So they may also say that there is discharge. Second, intermenstrual bleeding. Okay. Intermenstrual bleeding. They may come to us with increased urinary frequency. In some less small number of patients, there may be fever with chills also. This is when the infection is severe, right? So this is when the infection is severe, right? So this is what an acute attack of PID is like, right? So this is what is a description of acute PID. Okay. So a woman who is having acute PID will typically have lower abdominal pain with any one of the following, which is uterine tenderness, adnexal tenderness, cervical motion tenderness, but she may have other complaints also like discharge, intermenstrual bleeding, urinary frequency, and rarely fever with chills. Now, listen to me very carefully. 10% of girls with PID, right? So 10% of women with PID may present as right upper quadrant pain. Okay, so 10% of women with PID may present also with right upper quadrant pain. Why? Why do they have right upper quadrant pain when the infection is lower down? So this is a condition which is called as Fitzhugh-Curtis syndrome, right? So Fitzhugh-Curtis syndrome, right? So what is this Fitzhugh-Curtis syndrome? This development of what? Development of perihepatitis. Okay, development of perihepatitis in women with PID, right? So these women develop infection of the liver capsule as well. It is not hepatitis. Please remember the key word is perihepatitis, around the liver, not inside the liver, right? So they will present with upper right quadrant pain, right? So they will have upper right quadrant pain, right? And please remember again, Fitzhugh-Curtis can happen with both chlamydia and gonorrhea, but the single most important organism when we ask you, you have to answer it as chlamydia, right? So Fitzhugh-Curtis can be seen with both chlamydia as well as gonorrhea. मगर अगर एक organism mark करना होगा, then you will answer it as chlamydia, right? So the single organism that you will mark will be chlamydia, right? Is this clear? Now, once you know how PID presents, yes, I want to ask you a few things. Should you do a urine pregnancy test? Yes, right? A reproductive age woman presenting to you with lower abdominal pain, menstrual irregularity, urine pregnancy test should be done, right? So if she has pain along with abnormal bleeding, you must do a urine pregnancy test as well. Okay, then if there is a discharge, needless to say, you should do a microscopy of the discharge. Yes, so we should be doing a microscopy of the discharge. Okay, then the other tests for sexually transmitted diseases like HIV, syphilis, right? These should also be done, right? So other tests for sexually transmitted diseases like HIV or syphilis, these should also be done. Coming to among the radiological investigations, the first investigation that we will do is ultrasound, right? So the first investigation that we do is ultrasound. Okay, now please remember, I don't want you to know any details, but just this much, that there are 3 ultrasound signs of PID. I just want you to know the names and I will show you the pictures. Okay, so the 3 ultrasound signs of PID are, the first one is called as cogwheel sign. Okay, it's called as cogwheel sign. I'll show you what the sign is. The second one is waist sign. Okay, WAI, waist, right? Kamar. So waist sign. I'll tell you why it is called as waist sign, right? And the third is beads on string sign, right? So the third is beads on string sign, right? So these are the three named signs which are seen in ultrasonography. Let me quickly show you these three signs. So these are the three signs that I want you to see, right? So this one first, if I put it as A, is what is the cog wheel sign, right? If you see, this is a dilated fallopian tube, right? So there is a dilated fallopian tube like this, and you feel that there are spokes of a wheel inside, right? So this is all due to development of adhesions inside. And dilatation का क्या मतलब होता है? Hydrosalpinx. Yes, a dilated tube means hydrosalpinx, right? So this is what is the cog wheel sign. There is development of adhesions inside. Okay, this is the second sign. This is again a dilated fallopian tube, but then suddenly there is a narrowing here. This narrowing is what is called as the waist sign. Patli kamar, right? So upar patli kamar is what is waist sign. Why? Again, due to development of adhesions and strictures, right? So due to development of adhesions and strictures. So the tube is dilated, but there may be a sudden narrowing. Okay. Then the third sign is this. So this is the beads on string sign. So if you see, this is again a dilated fallopian tube, and here you are seeing beads, right? So this is the beads on string sign. Now मुझे जल्दी से याद करके बता दो, right? जल्दी से याद करके बता दो, beads on string HSG पे किसका साइन था, right? So beads on string HSG पे किसका साइन था? Tuberculosis. So when you see it in HSG, it is genital tuberculosis. But here we are talking about ultrasound, right? So don't get confused, right? So ultrasound is, beads on string is PID. HSG and beads on string was genital tuberculosis, right? Okay. Sometimes we may also do a endometrial biopsy, right? Sometimes we may do a endometrial biopsy in these women. Then please remember, if the endometrial biopsy report comes as plasma cell endometritis, then this is what is chronic endometritis. And the causative organism is chlamydia, right? So the causative organism is chlamydia, right? And why would we be doing an endometrial biopsy? Because these women with PID can also have infertility. लेकिन अभी बाद में बताऊंगी what I want you to know. So here I'm just telling you, why are we doing an endometrial biopsy? Because sometimes these women may present with infertility, and then if on endometrial biopsy you find out plasma cell endometritis, then this is classic to chronic endometritis, and this is seen with chlamydia. Okay? Finally, the gold standard investigation. Okay? The gold standard investigation for PID is laparoscopy. Okay? Or a diagnostic laparoscopy, right? So diagnostic laparoscopy is gold standard, but it is very invasive. Yes. And here in laparoscopy, you will actually be able to directly see the fallopian tube. For example, this is a classic sign for, or classic finding with PID. You see that the tubes are grossly dilated. Kitni moti tubes hain? So this is again what? hydrosalpinx, right? So you can see the grossly dilated fallopian tubes. You will be able to see the adhesions also, if there are adhesions. Yes, you remember I showed you a photograph in infertility of frozen pelvis. Do you remember that picture? Yes. So frozen pelvis can also be seen with PID. Do you remember I taught you this? So where you would see lots and lots of adhesions. Yes. So frozen pelvis can also be seen. But I taught you there also. If we say frozen pelvis, what is the single best answer for frozen pelvis? Genital TB. Do not first answer PID nahi hota, right? So if we ask you the first answer for frozen pelvis, you should answer it as genital tuberculosis. ठीक है? जल्दी से देख के बताओ ये क्या है? What is this? What is this? So this is what is perihepatitis. This is a photograph of Fitzhugh-Curtis syndrome. Why I want you to see this photograph is because the appearance of these adhesions is very characteristic. These are called as Weiland string adhesions, right? So these are called as Weiland string adhesions of Fitzhugh-Curtis syndrome. So whenever you see these adhesions, you should be able to know that these are the Weiland string adhesions of perihepatitis, which is Fitzhugh-Curtis syndrome, which is seen in women with PID. और ये adhesions किसके और किसके बीच में है? Liver capsule and anterior abdominal wall. Okay, so liver capsule and anterior abdominal wall. Right? So remember, diagnostic lab is the gold standard. Also, sometimes if needed, I can also take a biopsy, and then the biopsy will be taken from the fimbrial end of the tube. Right? So biopsy अगर लेना होगा तो कहाँ से लेंगे? We will take the biopsy from the fimbrial end of the tube. Right? किसका वायलिन बजाने का मन कर रहा है भाई? Okay. So बेकार है infection गंदा सान. Okay. पता नहीं नाम इतना अच्छा क्यों है. So Weiland string adhesions. Right? So this is what you should know about acute PID. What is the treatment for acute PID? The treatment for acute PID is, if the patient is sick, then we might have to give inpatient treatment. Otherwise, we can also give outpatient treatment. So this will depend on severity of the symptoms. Okay? Agar inpatient treatment dena hai, then we will give injection cefoxitin IV every 6 hourly. Right? So 2 grams cefoxitin IV 6 hourly. Right? And along with this, we will give doxycycline 100 milligrams BD IV. Right? So 100 milligrams BD IV. Agar outpatient treatment dena hai, right? If we have to give an outpatient treatment, then it will be the same. Ceftriaxone 250 milligrams IM, single dose, along with doxycycline 100 milligram BD for 14 days, right? So 100 milligram BD for 14 days. Is it clear, everyone? Then, once we know this part, talking about what is the long-term sequelae. So what is the long-term complications of PID? Okay, so the long-term treatment of PID or complications of PID can be infertility. So please remember, infertility is not a presentation of acute PID. इसलिए acute में नहीं लिखवाया. Okay, so this is the long-term complication of PID, which is infertility. Then What else? Ectopic pregnancy. Okay. Ectopic pregnancy. What else? Hydrosalpinx. What else? Chronic pelvic pain, right? Chronic pelvic pain. Okay. And finally, what else? It can also cause recurrent. Okay. It can also cause recurrent PID. Your exams are fond of asking. Light chili gayi thi meri. Okay. So light had gone. So your exams are fond of asking long-term complications. Okay. So long-term complications are infertility, okay, ectopic pregnancy, hydrosalpinx, chronic pelvic pain, recurrent PID. The order in which I have written is important. Okay, so the single best answer will always be infertility, followed by ectopic, followed by hydrosalpinx, followed by chronic pelvic pain. Okay, chalo. So this was what you should know about infections. Okay, now just a few words that I would want you to know about fistula. Okay, just a few words that I want you to know about genitourinary fistulas. So, what are genitourinary fistulas? Okay, the genitourinary fistulas are abnormal connections between genital tract and urinary tract. Okay, so abnormal connections between genital tract and urinary tract. Now, the most common, okay, the most common genitourinary fistula is VVF, vesico-vaginal fistula. इसके बाद कौन सा आता है? Uretero-vaginal fistula, मतलब between ureter and vagina. हाँ जी बेटा, सेफ्ट्राइएक्सोन IM होता है, सेफॉक्सिटिन IV है. ये तो फार्मा है ना बच्चे, ठीक है? So uretero-vaginal fistula, and the least common is urethro-vaginal. Okay, between urethra and vagina, right? So most common is VVF. Now the first thing that you have to know is, what is the most common cause of VVF? So please remember, the most common cause of VVF in developing countries, जैसे कि India, is obstructed labor. So अभी आप OBS में पढ़ोगे what is obstructed labor, right? So the most common cause of VVF in developing countries is obstructed labor, but in developed countries it will be as a complication of gynecological surgeries or as a complication of radiation therapy, right? The single most answer here is gynecological surgeries. Okay. Now, coming on to how would a patient with fistula present? So a patient who has the genitourinary fistula will present as continuous leakage of urine, right? So continuous leakage of urine, which is painless. It will not be associated with urgency, not be associated with features of stress incontinence. Yes, So which means not aggravated by coughing, sneezing. Okay? So there will be no features of urgency, and there will be no features of stress incontinence as well. Right? So continuous leakage of urine, which is painless, is what should make us think of vesicovaginal fistula. Now, please remember, yes, Divya, you are right. Now, please remember, inpatient में oral देंगे, IV देंगे doxy, और outpatient में oral doxy देंगे. Okay, Divya? Right. Now, when it comes to continuous leakage of urine, we think of VVF. Now, please remember, if VVF is happening after a gynae surgery, then it is a delayed complication of gynae surgeries. What do you understand by this? Which means it will not present within 1 day, 2 days, or 3 days. Yes, it's a delayed complication, right, which will present later. Right? So these fistulas which happen because of surgical complications will happen relatively after a gap from the surgical procedure. Right? So they will happen after a gap from the surgical procedure. Right? Usually the first presentation will come 7 to 10 days after surgery. Right? So the first presentation will come 7 to 10 days after surgery. Okay. Now, coming to how do we make a diagnosis whether my patient has a VVF or a ureterovaginal fistula. So the first thing is look at the patient's history. If the history is continuous leakage and no acts of micturition, then this goes in favor of VVF. Can you tell me why? Can you tell me why? Because whatever urine beta G is coming to the bladder, it is escaping out from the vagina. So nothing is collecting inside the bladder. So the patient never has a desire to pass urine, right? So there will be no acts of normal coitus. Okay. Whereas what will be the patient's complaints if it is ureterovaginal? She will have continuous leakage. Sometimes it can be intermittent also. So with ureterovaginal fistulas, sometimes it can be intermittent leakage also. It depends on the size. Okay. So continuous leakage or intermittent leakage. But the most important thing here is with normal acts of micturition. So here the patient will pass urine also. Why? Because some amount of urine is always reaching the bladder. Right? So some is escaping from the fistula, but some is also reaching the bladder. Right? So eventually bladder kabhi na kabhi full hoga and she will have a desire to pass urine. So if the continuous leakage has no acts of, right? So if it has no acts of micturition, then it is VVF. Okay, if it is associated with acts of micturition, then it is ureterovaginal. Okay, then it is ureterovaginal fistula. Okay, is it clear, everyone? Right. Test कौन सा करते हैं? So investigation of choice. Investigation of choice is 3 swab test. Okay, the investigation of choice is 3 swab test. So what do? You are going to put dye into the bladder. So retrogradely, you will put dye into the bladder like methylene blue or indigo caramine. Right? So retrogradely, we have put the dye in the bladder. Now what do? You keep 3 swabs in the patient's vagina, one below the other, right? So you will keep 3 swabs in the patient's vagina, one below the other. Now you will see what is the staining of these swabs. Okay, listen to me very carefully. If the upper 2 swabs are wet and stained, then this is a VVF. If only the lower swab is wet and stained, then it is urethra, okay, ureterovaginal fistula, right? So if it is only the lower one, then it is ureterovaginal fistula, right? And if only the top swab is wet, only top is wet and not stained, तो कौन सा होगा बताओ? If only the upper swab is wet and not stained, then what is it going to be? Then it is going to be ureterovaginal fistula. And I'm sure you know why is it not stained. Okay, why is it not stained? Because we have put the dye in the bladder, right? So if only the top one is wet but not stained, then it is ureterovaginal fistula. Okay, ureterovaginal fistula mein the urine is coming from ureter into the vagina, not from the bladder into the vagina, and the dye has been put into the bladder, right? So if the upper one is wet and not stained, it is ureterovaginal. ठीक है, समझ में आ गया सबको? So the investigation of choice is 3 swab test, right? So you will have to combine the 3 swab test and what is written in the history to give the answer, whether it is VVF or whether it is ureterovaginal fistula, right? Lastly, when are we going to, or what is the surgery that we are going to do? So the most commonly done surgery for VVF is called as LATSCO. Okay, it's called as LATSCO, right? So LATSCO is the most common surgery that we do in VVF, right? You don't need to know the details, just know the name and know that this is a vaginal surgery. Okay, so this is the most common surgery and this is a vaginal surgery, right? So let's go. Also remember that after you have operated, you have to keep the Foley's catheter for 14 days, right? So you have to keep the Foley's catheter for 14 days after you have done the surgical correction. This is also a very potential MCQ, right? So you should keep the Foley's catheter for 14 days. Is it clear, everybody? Right. So this is what you should know about VVF. Don't bother to go into more details. जो भी MCQ आएंगे वो यहीं से आएंगे. बहुत ज़्यादा time waste नहीं करना है. This is good enough for exams, right? So 3 swab मैं फिर से बता देती हूँ and then we are done for the day, right? So 3 swab test में we have put the dye in the bladder, right? Like methylene blue. We can also put indigo caramine. Then we keep 3 swabs in her vagina. One at the top, then another uske niche, another one uske bhi niche. Then you will see which swabs are stained. So if it is the upper 2 which are stained, it is going to be bladder. Remember, the bladder is in the upper 2/3 of the vaginal wall. Lower 1/3 is not bladder. Yes, you remember cystocele? I told you cystocele is in the upper 2/3, right? So if the upper 2 are wet and stained, okay, it is going to be vesicovaginal fistula. Okay? And if it is only lower one stained, it is ureterovaginal fistula. एक बार याद कर लो, यूरिथ्रोवेजाइनल आंसर मार्क मत करना. इट इज अ वेरी रेयर थिंग. यू शुड नेवर मार्क रेयर थिंग्स इन योर एग्जाम्स, नहीं तो बहुत रेयर मार्क्स आते हैं. ठीक है, सो आंसर ज्यादातर या तो वीवीएफ होगा या यूरिथ्रोवेजाइनल होगा. यूरिथ्रो में क्या देखना है? द अपर वन विल बी वेट बट नॉट स्टेन्ड because you have put the dye in the bladder, right? So that's what you know about the 3 swabs test. In general, if we ask you the best investigation for VVF, the best investigation for VVF is cystoscopy. ये एक और लिख लो. The best investigation is cystoscopy. Why? This is something that we will do pre-operatively. Right? So this is something we will do pre-operatively. This will show us the exact size of the fistula, the site of the fistula, and whether it involves the ureteric openings or not, because the surgery will depend on these parameters. So cystoscopy we do pre-operatively to look for site of the fistula, the size of the fistula, and whether the fistula involves the ureteric openings or not, right? So don't answer it as the IOC. The investigation of choice, okay, the investigation of choice is 3 swab test. Okay, it is going to be the 3 swab test, right? So this is what you should know about VVF. I said don't bother about too many details. They don't ask in the exams. It's not required. Okay, do this. You should be able to solve the questions that come in your exams, right? So vaginal and vulval cancer, we don't do it in class. It's a rare MCQ. तो जब सब कुछ पढ़ लोगे बच्चे शिवराम, और अगर वेजाइनल कैंसर या वल्वल कैंसर पढ़ने का मन हो तो एम्स कैप्सूल खोल लेना. You have vulval cancer in the AIMS capsule, right? It is hardly ever asked as an MCQ. And I believe that you should put more of your energy on things which are likely to be asked, right? So when you have done everything else from your class notes and you want to read vulval cancer, please go to AIMS capsule. In that obs and gynae part, I have discussed vulval cancer as well. Okay, so I will rather suggest that you do it maybe close to your central institutes. Right now, don't waste your time on it. It is not required. Okay. Chalo. Any other doubts that you want to ask? Okay. So now, I have tried to give my best. Okay. So आप लोगों का भी फर्ज बनता है अब to give your best. Okay. एक टीचर के लिए सबसे अच्छा दिन कौन सा होता है? Do you know that? जब आप लोग अच्छा परफॉर्म करते हो, right? You get the branch of your choice and you send a message to us that madam or sir, I have secured this rank and I'm going to become a radiologist, I'm going to become a neurosurgeon, I'm going to become a gynecologist, right? So those are the days that make us happy. Those are the days that make us what we are. Yes? So वो जो खुशी है वो मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप सब हमें दो. एक बार सारे बच्चे, you know, you have to work to that level that you are able to reach where you really want to reach. Right? And you're working so hard. The only thing you need is dedication and discipline. Right? अगर discipline का साथ छोड़ दोगे तो फिर आगे जाना मुश्किल हो जाता है. It becomes difficult to stick to your path. Sticking to your path is what is the most important thing. Right? No matter how old you get, no matter how young you are. If you want to achieve big in life, you have to stick to the tasks that you have taken in your hand. So you will all ensure कि आप सब खूब मेहनत करोगे. और मेरे हिसाब से ना मेहनत किसी और को बताने के लिए नहीं होती. You don't work hard to tell anyone else that you are working hard. जब अंदर से ऐसा लगे that you are not cheating your own self, you have to be truthful to yourself for every moment, right? So when you get this feeling from within that you are not cheating yourself, you are doing what you can maximally do. That is the level I want you to achieve. I don't want you to tell anyone else how hard you are working, your mom, your dad, your teachers. No. The only realization is self-realization. I want that हर बच्चे को वो फीलिंग अंदर से आनी चाहिए कि आई एम बीइंग ट्रूथफुल टू माई सेल्फ. मैंने जो आज अपने दिन में किया वो मेरा बेस्ट शॉट था. आई डोंट केयर व्हाट हैपेंस आफ्टर दैट. You have to reach this zone where the result is not mattering to you because you are being truthful to yourself in giving your best shot. That is where I want you to reach. Okay. And you guys have seen us so many times on camera in the classes, but unfortunately we couldn't see you this year, right? So if I make a small request, I would love to see you guys on screen. So send me a picture on the Facebook club, or साथ में anything from the class that you remember, you can write there, right? You can also make it as an Insta story. You can put a picture with your class notes. Anyway, जिस तरह से भी आपको लगता है कि आपको मेरी क्लास की एक मेमोरी रहेगी कि हमने मैम को एक प्रॉमिस किया है. What is that promise? Promise of being truthful to yourself, right? So post a picture wherever you want to, maybe club, maybe Instagram, anywhere where you're comfortable, right? And maybe you can write a small memory of the class that we shared. I will also cherish those memories and you will also cherish, and we will keep these memories for your result day. Okay? We will keep them for your result day. And this photograph, this picture that you're going to take is going to, every time when you go away from your path, वो मेरी याद दिलाएगा कि मैम ने प्रॉमिस लिया है, और मैं जब प्रॉमिस लेती हूँ तो मैं रखती भी हूँ, and I want other people to keep the promise as well. Okay? So promises have to be made, they have to be kept, and you have to be truthful in keeping your promises, right? So Dr. Sumer has joined us. Welcome, Dr. Sumer.
और वो फोटो मेरी क्लास की भी हो सकती है, जरूरी नहीं है कि दीप्ति की क्लास की हो. इट कैन बी माय क्लास फोटोग्राफ एज वेल, है ना. और रेडियोलॉजी में वैसे भी विजुअल ज्यादा अच्छी लगेगी मुझे लगता है.
Very smart. And we guys totally enjoyed. I think August was a month where we spent the entire month with you people. And just to tell you a little about कि सिर्फ आप लोग मेहनत नहीं कर रहे हो, I would like to say a small thing about कि आपके टीचर्स भी बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हैं. पिछले 1 महीने से मेरे घर में टीवी नहीं चला है. I have a small child. He's 8 years old, who is not even going to school, right? He is with us and he's been so supportive. उसने कहा भी नहीं कि मैं टीवी देखूंगा, right? Just because कि वो इंटरनेट बंद नहीं होना चाहिए, right? कि वो इंटरनेट जिससे क्लास चल रही है वो बंद नहीं होना चाहिए, right? So when Dr. Sumer takes a class, I'll be around कि कोई flickering नहीं होना चाहिए, लाइट जाएगी तो क्या करना है, right? पानी पीने के लिए भी we don't get up. I'm not trying to say कि हम महान हैं या कुछ हैं. I'm just saying कि दोनों तरफ से मेहनत लगती है to bring desired results. So हमें वो ensure करना है कि हम वो मेहनत हम करें. हमने ensure करा है, आप भी ensure करोगे कि वो मेहनत आप करोगे, right? So you also have to give in that kind of effort where you feel proud of yourself, and as I said, you feel happy with what you have done. वो बहुत जरूरी है. सर तो बार बार बोलते हैं no regrets, no regrets. So you have to feel happy with what you have done. Believe me, result अच्छा आएगा ही आएगा. ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता ना आए, right? And I am a जीता जागता example of that. You don't have to be super bright to do well in your life, to be a good doctor or to be a good clinician. I was a very average student throughout, but I knew this little fact about my own self, that I am average. So I knew one thing, that the only way I have is to work hard. So I knew this little thing about myself and I was truthful about it to myself. I wasn't shy. I'm not shy right now also saying that I am an average person. I'm very proud of what I am, because this averageness has given me the constant push in my life. It has told me to work hard. So even if you have some negative aspect, जिसको लोग negative कहते हैं, आप उसको positive में convert करो, right? So somebody might have said there some negative thing about you, right? Let them say, you convert that negative into positive. उसको अपने plus point में convert कर दो. So even if it is average, I have said it in one of my podcasts as well, average is awesome, simply because average people don't know when to stop. So they keep going on and on and on. वो मेहनत करते रहते हैं, करते रहते हैं, करते रहते हैं, right? So you should all do that. You should feel happy about what you are doing. Results will be good. Okay. So we will talk a little bit about strategy as well today, right? We'll guide you on what to do further.
But quickly ना आप लोग को बच्चे will show you quick a small graph in front of you. Please see. I'll give you the goals of each month. And before that,
okay, before we give you the goals,
I'll just call Krish to.
Krish is going to come. He's a little sleepy and tired, but he'll say hello to all the great Bhaiya Didis. So Krish, they're all doctors and they are the future specialists and the future of this country. Okay. So say thumbs up to all Bhaiya Didis. Okay.
So I want you to see, beta, I am going to give you clear goals for September, October, November, December. Okay. So people who have an exam this year, September is the month to finish the syllabus. September का गोल याद कर लो बेटा, कोर्स खत्म करना है, क्लास खत्म करनी है, नोट्स खत्म करने हैं, क्वेश्चन बैंक खत्म करना है. सितंबर का गोल है फिनिश योर क्लास एंड DQBs. अक्टूबर का गोल होगा रिवीजन एंड वी विल हेल्प यू इन रिवीजन विद DVT. वी विल हेल्प यू फॉर रिवीजन विद DVT बेटा. नवंबर का गोल होगा सेंट्रल एग्जाम्स, वन मोर रिवीजन. दिसंबर का गोल होगा फाइनल रिवीजन, CBT, practice, more grand test, revision. Okay, so this has to be your strategy for your final years. Okay, I just wanted you to see a quick ideas that we have. I'll just show you some of them. ठीक है, सारे नहीं दिखाऊंगा, एक ये देख लो. So September 22 onwards, I already told you on eMedicos we will start doubt solving sessions. Doubt solving sessions में the teachers will be available to you live on the eMedicos app. है ना, उससे आपने टीचर से रिवीजन करवाना है या कुछ पूछना है, वो आपके ऊपर.
राइट, आप कहोगे टीचर को कि कोई
टीचर
टॉपिक
विल बी सिटिंग देयर फॉर यू फॉर दोज आवर्स. सपोज अगर मैंने 2 घंटे अलॉट किया तो 2 hours आई विल बी देयर. You can ask anything you want to, and I will schedule separate sessions for junior बच्चास and senior बच्चास.
छोटे और बड़े बच्चों
doubts can be of
आप लोगों को हम अलग कर देंगे. अब अलविदा कह दो एक दूसरे को, right? So doubt solving will be separate. So whatever you want to ask in those 2 hours, 4 hours, the faculty will be continuously there on the eMedicos. लेकिन आपके ऊपर है, आप कितनी देर तक कुछ पूछना चाहते हो, आप आके पूछ सकते हो. यू कैन लॉग आउट, यू कैन कम बैक अगेन, आस्क एन MCQ और even ask the faculty to teach you a topic, right? So it will be like a one-on-one and faculty will be at your discretion. आप जो उन्हें कहोगे वो वैसे आपके लिए करेंगे.
And plus these will be happening multiple times, so it is not like कि आपने मिस कर दिया, कोई बात नहीं, ये multiple time करेंगे. एम्स के एग्जाम तक they will be happening so that you have ample time to talk to teachers. Just like we used to do in the face-to-face class. I don't want you to miss the face-to-face class this year. जैसे face-to-face class में break में टीचर के पास आके खुल के बात करते थे, जो जानना था बात करते थे, वैसी जगह मैं आपको फिर से दूंगा. Okay? Another thing I want to remind you is that आप में से जितने भी बच्चे regular course के हैं, you will have a big revision session with us called as DVT in the mid-year, in the mid-October.
And we will make it DAMS level. Okay? It will be really super for your revision. शॉर्ट में जल्दी से 19 सब्जेक्ट्स को मोस्ट इफेक्टिवली, मोस्ट हाई यील्डिंगली कैसे रिवाइज करना है क्लोज टू एग्जाम्स, उसके लिए देयर विल बी DVT फॉर यू. ओके,
and I'll request all the 3rd year and 4th year students if they are around to say best of luck to your senior bachas right now in the chat box also, है ना. अब उन सबको best of luck करना. And I also want to point out to all of you कि gradually the students who are going to give exam this year, you have to increase the frequency of your grand test. अभी आप महीने में एक दे रहे हैं, even if you're giving once a month, okay, but then gradually in October we will start giving once every 2 weeks. In December we will give one every week. In December we will give one per week. Grand test को बढ़ाना शुरू करना बेटा. We have to increase the frequency of grand test. Okay, and I also want to point out to you that we will be having 3 more CBTs this year. Lot of students are asking CBT क्या होगा? CBT will be held in computer centers. But considering the situation this year, आपको घर पे करने की भी ऑप्शन दी जाएगी. If you are in a containment zone, you can do it at home also. There will be 3 CBTs conducted this year. 13th October will be AIMS pattern. 18th October will be NEET pattern. 13th December will be the final NEET PG CBT that will happen. Okay, so keep those dates in your mind. Okay, and I also want to point out to the regular batch students कि revision करते समय अभी आप September में please finish your class tests so that when you're revising you can pick up another test called as SWTs from the online test series.
Okay, here I would like to add something. I had given August में DQB promise and the students have been absolutely amazing in following it. Tomorrow, I think 10 p.m. me and Dr. Sumer will come live on the Facebook club and we're going to come with new targets for you all. Okay, so join us in the Facebook tomorrow in the club itself. We'll be live there at 10 p.m. tomorrow after your class is over. And we'll talk about some more targets for you, how to keep you on track, right? And then again, we'll take all kinds of queries that you have with respect to your study or planning or whatever, okay?
And I also want to tell the students, tomorrow we will announce the date of DAMS Grey Matter quiz also. DAMS Grey Matter quiz, the preliminary round will be conducted in September on the eMedicos app. Then the final will be conducted on DAMS Daily YouTube channel. And the winner will get 50,000 rupees. So it's a big quiz nationwide. All the students from the entire country participate in this quiz. Tomorrow I will announce DAMS Grey Matter quiz also, beta. Okay. And finally, I want you to have the targets very simple, clear for you. September ka target hai, finish your class tests, finish your classes, finish your DQB. एक बार, one reading खत्म करनी है पूरे September के अंदर. अक्टूबर का टारगेट है रिवीजन, डीवीटी, एसडब्ल्यूटी, जीटी एंड वी विल हेल्प यू विद लाइव डाउट सॉल्विंग ऑन ई-मेडिकोस. ओके, एम्स से पहले वी नीड टू ऐड एम्स कैप्सूल प्रीवियस पेपर्स. नवंबर दिसंबर में टारगेट होगा रिवीजन ऑफ नोट्स, सीबीटीज, ग्रैंड टेस्ट, डीवीटी रिवीजन. दिस इज हाउ यू विल गो अबाउट टिल द एंड. So we thought that today we will just quickly show you the methodology of how to go about the future as well. Okay, and now we want to finally leave you with a task, like Deepti has already talked about that. A same task is from my side also. If you find anything interesting from the workbook, please send a picture of yours with the workbook. Show me the quality of notes that you have made. Yeah. I've already seen many of you have made quality notes, beautifully labeled images in the workbook and all that. It's so beautiful.
Dr. Sumer wants to see your notes, but I want to see you all because that gets me connected to you. I want to see your picture with some memory of the class ताकि मुझे याद रहे ये वाला बच्चा था और ये शैतान था या ये अच्छा बच्चा था. Write your quality as well. In fact, write this. With the picture of the class and yourself, write one quality about yourself. ये लिखो चलो. Right?
Now I will
one
request,
quality about yourself.
Yes. And now I'll request the senior wala bachas to tell us who is the best junior that you met in this entire lockdown period on the eMedicos chat. इस chat में सबसे बढ़िया जूनियर कौन सा मिला आपको?
बड़े बच्चे
बताएंगे.
बड़े बच्चे बताएंगे कि उनको कोई छोटा बच्चा अच्छा बच्चा लगा कि नहीं लगा. सारे गंदे बच्चे थे. छोटे बच्चे शैतान हैं, है ना?
I think Mimamsa would be on the top of the list. I think.
Okay.
Farhan, Shinchan, Mohta Bhai, Anudeep. Okay, so great. So we could create. आज हमने एक ऐसी चीज की है जिसको आज आप वैल्यू करें कि आज आपने इस पिछले 6 months में you all have created relationships. You have created an invisible thread which is binding all of us together. है ना? Situation मुश्किल थी. There was a lockdown going on. Pandemic था. चिंता थी. बहुत मुश्किल time था. But we could all pump each other up. We could boost each other up. We could be together in this scenario. And this situation will pass. Normalcy will come back. We just need to hold on. Stay positive, beta. And I also want to tell all of you that once you will be through this, you have a story to tell to your grandchildren that once upon a time there was a pandemic, and you had, your colleges were off, everything was off, but you would remember that dance classes were going on at those times. सब भूल जाओगे जब आप ग्रैंडफादर बन जाओगे, ग्रैंडमदर बन जाओगे,
Oh my
but
God.
at least you will remember the emotion that we will have today. ये feeling नहीं भूलोगे आप कि यार हाँ सर उस दिन मजा तो आया था, है ना? That is my dream, that one day if I can meet you as a head of department or as a professor, as a neurosurgeon, as a cardiac surgeon, it would be a great exercise. I also want the junior bachas to know that new challenges are coming up for you in form of Next. And we have done multiple seminars. I'll keep doing more of them for you.
And the chota bachas, you better get serious now, okay? Things are, I won't say they are tough, but they need all your, attention in the form of concept clearing and application of concepts. Yes. So next में ये बहुत जरूरी है. And even I would like to tell something to the students here who are our regular batch students कि आज MCI का एग्जाम हुआ था बच्चे, और उसका पेपर बहुत क्लिनिकल आया है.
Just like we predicted.
जैसे हम तुम्हें पढ़ा रहे हैं.
I want all of you to understand that students who are appearing for MCI screening, they will come to us and they will say, "Sir, आप लोग ज़्यादा पढ़ा रहे हो, इतना conceptual नहीं आएगा, one liner आएगा."
MCI को ये थोड़ी चाहिए होता है.
And we keep telling them, भाई ऐसा नहीं है. And this year MCI screening has been a totally clinical paper, just like we predicted. More full of clinical vignettes, full of visuals, no one-liners. वो कबाड़ा जो सब बाजार से खरीद रहे थे बच्चे, it's totally बेकार.
So please remember, जो आपको हमने clinical vignette TND free में दिया है इस साल regular के साथ, please use it. आपको वो बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. And जो classes आपकी conceptual हुई हैं इस बार, completely conceptual applied clinical classes, you will really understand the difference of these classes once you face the exam. Yes, the paper is going to be clinical, it is going to be applied. So the more you are strong with your concepts and application, the stronger you will come out, right? So use the clinical vignette TND as well for your revision.
And I would again request you, stay positive, stay motivated, things will happen. Sab kuch hoga. You have done a great thing by coming into this medical profession. आगे भी अच्छा होगा. You will make a big name in future. अपना ध्यान रखेंगे. Don't worry about people telling you. थोड़ा बहुत लोग बोलते रहेंगे तू पढ़ रहा है, अभी तो मैं तो कमा रहा हूँ और ये सब थोड़े टाइम की बात है. Gradually you will have a social status which other people do not have. वो अभी लगता है जब हम 3rd year 4th year MBBS में होते हैं, ऐसा लगता है कि बाकी लोग अच्छा कर रहे हैं या others are doing better. It is not like this. Another 5-6 years, you will find out the difference. You will know what status a doctor has in the society is massive. आप बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं, आगे भी आप बहुत अच्छा करेंगे. I wish a happy Onam to all the students from Kerala who have joined us today. And I can see still, Binod is still trending on the chat.
बस करो बाबा, कितना टाइम करोगे?
भाई विनोद को तो छोड़ ही दो, है ना? And I also want to tell the final year students, take care of yourself. We will be announcing another set of case presentation, and next set of case presentations that we will schedule tomorrow will be of ophthalmology and pediatrics. उनका case presentation भी हम आपका करवाएंगे बेटा.
So with this little chat today, we'll say goodbye with a heavy heart.
But we might have missed a lot of your comments, so please write them on the Facebook club. Let us know. We want to connect back to you. We want to talk to you, and we want to.
And we will see you
make
tomorrow.
Sure that we keep connecting to each other again and again.
Yes.
Tomorrow we'll come live on Facebook club as well. This week we could not come for obvious reasons. Either of us was having a class. So tomorrow we'll come 10 p.m. in the night. We will come live on the Facebook group, take more of your queries, help you make a better strategy. Stay positive till then, and I'm sure ये समा भी निकल जाएगा. I'm sure, और आप आगे भी बहुत अच्छा करेंगे. Stay positive. Make sure that you convert this situation into your opportunity. Convert this crisis into an opportunity. Work harder. Put in more time. लोगों को नहीं सोचेंगे, लोग कुछ भी कहते रहेंगे. We will not let people tell us what we want to do in life. Okay, we will not let people rule us out. We will not let the opinion of people govern what we will become. We will become what we want to become. हम वो करेंगे जो हम करना चाहते हैं बेटा. Stay positive. You have the potential. You have the capability. God bless you. We wish you all the best. Deepti, final words.
Bye. I would just say I totally enjoyed teaching all of you. And I would again say something that I always say. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to be with you, to teach you, because it's a learning experience for us as well. Every time we sit with students, we learn something new, and this is how knowledge continues, right? So I wish you all the very best. We are still around. We will be around until and unless we make you reach where you want to reach. This is just a little official goodbye as far as classes are concerned, but not otherwise. We are going to stay around. We are going to be cushioning you. Don't worry.
And I want to tell you once more that I hope you enjoyed my dancing skeleton that I used in radiation physics class today. So I'll end up with some music playing so that you can enjoy the night.